Greetings, everyone. I'm back again. This is, I'll probably call it part two of this session. It's going to be the fear of YAHUAH. And some of the things I'm going to be touching is probably from the previous video as well. Uh, I'm not going to say this one is a short video because every time I say short, I end up on an hour. But before I go on, I hope you guys enjoy your Shabbat today because today is Shabbat. And since I am abroad, it depends where you are. Right now, it's about almost 10 o'clock for me, and I think the U.S. probably 2:44 in the afternoon. But my Shabbat is over, so that's why I'm doing the video. I want to thank Yahweh for a beautiful day, what He's done, the wisdom and understanding that He's given me, and the love for His Word, you know. And it's always my prayer for Yahweh to give me more wisdom and understanding so that I may understand the secret of the Torah. And I'm making the same prayer for you who's on my channel, who subscribes, who loves Yahweh, who's seeking Him. I pray that He give you wisdom and understanding. With that, I'm going to do a short prayer before I begin. Father, I thank you for today. Thank you for this beautiful Shabbat day. Thank you for your love, your mercy, love, and kindness. Thank you for your son YAHUSHA HAMASHIACH, who died for us, who was hung on the tree. And now, because of his sacrifice, now I'm able to ask for forgiveness for my sins. Thank you, Abaya, for your love, and forgive us for the sins of our forefathers and our sins, Abaya. I know we have provoked you to wrath and done wickedly before you, but thank you for being patient with us. Thank you for your love, your compassion, your long suffering, Abaya, for being patient with us, Abaya. And I pray for my brothers and sisters who have not yet heard this word. I pray the word reach out to them and provoke them to repent for their sins and the sins of our forefathers. And those who still confused, who hear the word but still lost, I pray that they receive understanding. And those of us, Abaya, who hear the word is doing their best to keep the commandments and laws and statutes, bring us together in one accord, that we may worship you and glorify you, Abaya, and share the word with everyone that we find, that they may hear the good word and worship you, that it may be well with them and their families. So with that, I pray that you receive all the glory. The honor is all to you, Yahweh, and I thank you, and let your name be glorified and edified in all this. Hallelujah. But I pray that, all is well with y'all. And again, session number two, from what I started. But this one, I know I called the previous one encouragement lessons and keeping the word, the commandments always. And it's still about the commandments. Like I say, I will always sound like a broken record because the importance of the commandments is very, 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 it's vital. It's like a lifeline. A life hangs on the commandments. Without it, it's just like taking somebody off intensive care, when they unplug the machines and you dead. So the commandments is our life. It is what we need to survive, to be able to be in Yahweh's presence, to keep us clean, clear, and steer away from wickedness and all the sins going on. But with that, I'm gonna start with Yasher or Jasher. I really encourage you guys to find the old books, the lost books. There are some apps that have all the lost books, either with King James. If you download on your apps, you will have the books of Jasher, Enoch, Jubilees, Baruch. I will advise you to read Baruch. It's a great, great read, a good read. Talk about the end of time, what have you, which I'm gonna read a few chapters in Baruch in this session. Yeah, I really encourage you, seek for the old books. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of knowledge in there for you to learn. And I'm praying that, those of you who listen to the channel, you share the word with others, and also make sure you teach it to your children. Teach your children the commandments, the laws, and statutes, what you hear. I mean, these videos, most of them I do it. I know some of them are long. I try, trust me, I try not to make it long, and I just think I talk too much sometimes. But I'm trying to edit and make it as short as possible. But it's not happening. But And it shouldn't be a problem, when it comes to the word. You should always want to hear it, because we sit there sometimes watching movies or shows for 2 3 hours, nonsense that's not even helping you. But anywho, I'm gonna title this, like I said, it's gonna be the fear of Yahweh. And also was the other one, I don't know why I titled it encouragement, the lessons of encouragement, but it's still about the fear of Yahweh. But like I said, I'm going to start in Jasher. What happened in Jasher? For some reason, it came to my mind. I was reading during Shabbat today, and the Joseph come to my mind, and I was reading. Yeah, I've read the chapter before, but like I said, it came to mind, and I thought I should do this lesson on the Torah, with starting with Joseph, which is Joseph. Yeah, the point of this, or the reason I choose this, is to show you when you have the fear of Yahweh, it's a lot of things that you steer yourself away from. When you keep the commandments, the laws and statutes, when you understand the importance of the commandments, when you understand how vital it is that by keeping the law, you will be blessed. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh will lift you up, and you will always be the head, not the tail. And that was the situation for Joseph. But in this thing, you see how Joseph feared Yahweh, and also in this chapter, you will see also the other nation, the wickedness in their heart, all the wickedness they brew, all they know, and everybody else, with us, now as the children of Yashar'el who are scattered, we all mingled up with all that wickedness, and like I said, steer away, despise the Torah, despise the law. We do all kind of the wicked things. Now with Joseph, I may not read all of the chapter because it's a very, very long chapter. I suggest you read it yourself. Is Jasher chapter 44. Read the whole chapter. It's basically when Joseph or Yosef, when he was sold as slaves. So while he was in the house of Potiphar, his master, and working, and you find Zelicah, his wife, Potiphar's wife, his master's wife, who lust after Joseph. Now understand, Joseph was a very handsome young man, and because of that, the lady was lovesick for Joseph. Anybody who's seen him, they just fell in love with him. But Joseph, as you can see him, I'm probably gonna trying to bring that short video with Kenya again. Don't get tired of it. With Jay, who actually did what he did, trying to go on a date, not try to went on a date and leaving his wife home. Now you can see Zelka here. He loved them so much, you know what I'm saying? And she was married. And this is the kind of wickedness that Yahweh did not want the children of Yashar'el to partake in. Once you married, once one man and one woman become, together they become one flesh. And you have to respect the fact that if you are married, that you do not look upon another man or woman, but Zelicah here, the wife of Potiphar, she lost so much for Joseph. And Joseph, on the other hand, who had the fear of Elohim, the fear of El Shaddai and Yah, he knew that she was a married woman, that he would stay away from her. And she made many advancements to him several times and several occasions, and tried and tried and tried again, and he always denied her, because he respect that she is his master's wife, and she is married. But on her mind, she didn't see it like that. And her friends, she partook with, between these people, they were not in the commandments, which is the heathens, the other nations. They don't care about that. It's okay. It's a norm for them to go ahead and sleep with another man or sleep with another woman while they are married. It's okay for them to do that. But when you have the fear of Yahweh, like Joseph did, and these things, this is where you steer away. You steer away, like it says in Psalms chapter 1, blesses the man that walks not, you know in the path of the wicked. You steer away from all this wickedness, the lawlessness. You do not partake in it. And I'm gonna go ahead and read again Psalms chapter 1 again to let you so you can understand um when they say for you not to walk, among the you can, like you said, he didn't have a choice. He was a slave. He was working, but yet he knows his boundary. He knows the law. He knows the commandments. He knows what Yahweh wants, and he had the fear in his heart. And he did not walk and go according to what the wife desire was. And it was nowadays, not if it was now, people were still doing it, but the children of Yashar'el, they were in sync with the commandments. They was kind of still fresh. Although they were sinning. Some of them, once they became slaves, Pharaoh, after the death of Joseph, they started doing all the wicked things. Because remember, on the time of Joseph, they were still young. The children, 12 sons of Jacob, and Joseph was still near, 17 years old when he was sold as a slave. So the tribe of Yashar'el, they weren't so good. They was like great. They were just very small group of people because the children was just born. They just kind of first started. But to go to Psalms chapter 1, it says, "Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seats of the scornful." Now, Joseph, on the other hand, he did not take counsel with the wicked. He did not listen to this woman, and that's why Yahuwah blessed him, that he became the governor of Egypt, a very respectful man and blessed men. Now, this woman here, I'm gonna go have Jasher chapter 44. I'm gonna read some of the key verses so you can see how wicked, the other nation, the heathens, the minds are, and it could have cost Yosef his life. You know what I'm saying? But he, like I say, was in the commandments. He knew what his Elohim wants. He respected Yahweh. He feared Yahweh so much so that he did not abide. But now, like I said, with things going on right now, you'll find a young man who will find a privilege. It will be an honor to sleep with his master's wife, because the master's wife asked he would have fulfilled the desire of the lady. It happens all the time. The cheating, the adultery, the fornication is a norm in our society nowadays. It's nothing, they call it good. And that's why I said, woe, it says in the verse, "Woe unto you that call evil good and good evil." These are the wicked things that are taking place as we speak today. In Joshua 44, in verse 23, it reads, it says, "And Zelicah desired Joseph in her heart, that he should lie with her. And at the time that Joseph was sitting in the house doing his work, Zelicah came and sat before him, and she enticed him daily, with her discourse to lie with her, and even to look at her. But Joseph would not hearken to her." You see, she went and provoked this man and kept going after him over and over, countless time, again and again. And which I love that with Joseph, he denies her every time she comes. And his mind never changed, he never faltered, because he understood the commandments. He understood what Yahweh wanted. And in verse 29, I'm going to be skipping verses, and it says, "And she gave them," now I'm going to go back actually to 27 actually. 27 say what happened. She invite, her friends. Verse 27 says, "And all the women of Mizraim came to visit Zelicah, and they said unto her, Why are you in this declining state?" She loved them so much. Now she became literally physically sick. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened when you lust so much for somebody. You literally become sick. it does something to your mind and your body, and it started affecting her. It started to show. And the question was asked for the women, her friends, her colleagues who were amongst her, who came to her house for a banquet, and they were questioning her, why do you look so sick? Why you look the way you look? It says, why are you in such a declined state? You that lack nothing, surely your man is a great and esteemed prince in the sight of the king. Should you lack anything? Or what your heart desire? This is the questions I was coming up to her because, it's just so weird to say you don't lack anything. Your husband is a prince, is a high man, high profile man, and why are you like that? You have everything you wanted. Why do you look so? And Zedekiah answered saying, this day it shall be made known to you whence this disorder sprang in which you see me. So she's explaining why she's in that state. And she commanded her maidservant to prepare food for all the women in the banquet that she actually invited them to come eat. And now, while they were at the house, now she makes sure that Joseph, was well dressed, to serve the women. And verse 29 it says, and she gave them knives to peel the citrons, to eat them. And she commanded that they should dress Joseph in costly garments, and that he should appear before them. And Joseph came before their eyes, and all the women looked on Joseph. So the reason she did that is just to be able to explain to them why she's in such a state, because Joseph is driving her crazy, because she loved and lust after Joseph, that she couldn't help it. But even those women, when they came, she gave them citrus and knife to eat. And what it says, because they so lust looking upon Joseph, and the verse continues, it says, and Joseph came before their eyes, and all the women looked on Joseph, and could not take their eyes off from him. And they all cut their hands with the knives that they had in their hands. And all the citrus that were in their hands were filled with blood. So they lost so much after, they staring at him so much, couldn't stop looking at him because of his beauty, because he's so handsome. They end up cutting themselves instead of cutting the citrons, and they had blood in their hands. They didn't even notice. In verse 30, and it reads, and they say they knew not what they had done to them, and continued to look at the beauty of Joseph, and did not turn their eyelid from him. Verse 31, and Zedekiah saw that and had done, and she said unto them, what is this that work that you have done? Behold, I have used citrus to eat, and you have all cut your hands. And all the women saw their hands, and behold, they were full of blood, and their blood flowed down from their garments. And they said to her, this slaves in your house has overcome us, and we could not turn our eyes lid from him on account of his beauty. Now you see, now they blaming him. He overcome them because of his beauty. They couldn't stop looking, so they end up cutting their hands. And then she go on and saying that this is if you who just sitting there, it does that to you. Imagine me in the house with him daily, and I have to look upon him, and he will not give me the desire. He's declining me daily. So that's why I am so sick. And the point, nobody, not even her husband, knew why she was declining so terribly, because she was in love with Joseph. So this is the thing that happens, when you're outside of the commandment. As this woman was in the commandment, she was a Hamite, by the way, and from Mitzrayim, Egypt, an Egyptian woman. So therefore, they did not believe in the law. They didn't know anything about the law. That's why these things happen. Like I said, it was a norm. It's okay. If it was another young man, they probably would fulfill her desire. So that's why it's important when you have the fear of Yahuwah is very important. That's what makes you different from the heathens and when you have Yahuwah in your life. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. But like it says, but fools despise wisdom. That's in Proverbs. Okay? And that's why, like I say, it's important to guard the commandments. Now, Joseph was fulfilling the commandment number 6 in Exodus chapter 20. You shall not commit what? Adultery. You know, he was not about to break the covenant with Yahweh, you know, although the commandment was not made yet unto a law, you know, because it was after Joseph, after Moses come after Joseph. You understand? So it was not made into a law yet, but he knew the law, and he knew that what happens when someone is married, you do not break that law, because remember, Abraham was taught by Noah and the children of Abraham, you know, the seeds of Abraham. The Torah was teaching to them. They knew what to do and what not to do, what Yahweh wanted and what he did not want. So therefore, that's why he implied with Moses, teach it to your children. Teach your children the law, the statutes, so they may keep it. And also, what you have to understand, there's a lot of things that happen too between the 12 sons of Yaakov. That Yahweh also, because of the mistakes they made, they end up become a law as well. Now, with the adultery thing, you can see, like I say, it's a norm in society, because they do not embrace the commandments, they do not embrace the covenant, you know, the laws and statutes. So it's a norm now for people to fornicate, to do adultery. Now, you have to understand the hierarchy from the saying that the law is done away with. You have to understand the Gentiles, and also which the Hamites, also the heathens, the other nations. Now, the law that was, remember I told you that the Catholic Church is the head of all churches. Now, who brings this law is done away with. It starts from them. And you have to understand as well, when they were telling you the law is done away, it's not to save you, it's not to protect you, but it's to protect themselves. When they put that law, is to cover themselves in the wickedness that, you know, they brewing, and the wickedness that they live their lives in, and so that, you know, the law does not, they don't take it or practice or partake in it, you know, to comes to their own benefit. Just imagine if the law was practiced truly in the Christian society, or what in any of the other religious, you know, system or sect out there. Now, a lot of people would have been killed, starting from the Catholic Church, because in the commandments, if you find anyone, you know, it says that will even trying to steer you away from Yahweh, telling you to go ahead and worship an idol, you know, telling you to go serve another god. That person, you're supposed to bring him to the outside of the city and stone them to death. So mainly every Catholic people will be dead by now, because why? They worshiping an idol. They encouraging people to worship an idol instead of worshiping the true Elohim Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? So this would have been an issue. So with their system, the way they raise, the way they reject the word, and, you know, they even teaching other people, making people believe that it's a good thing to keep the law away. And all the scandals that you hear with Catholic priests are going ahead, you know, raping young men, you know, all this wickedness happening in church. And yet people still are going to the Catholic Church. They'll still go to a priest, in which I have, you know, it's baffling me every time I hear that you're going to go to another man, ask him, Father, I have sinned. How he to become your father? And Yahusha said himself, you should not call no one else Rabbi or Father. The only Father is Yahweh in heaven. And he did not put in place any priests, you know. For you to go to ask for forgiveness, you go to whom? Yahweh. That's the reason why Yahusha HaMashiach died, is so that you are able to go yourself and ask Yahweh for forgiveness of your sin? How do you go to another man telling them, Father, you have sinned, telling him the things that you do? And the same Father you telling your sins is raping other children, is doing a bunch of abominable things. They're kneeling in front of an idol, and out of ignorance of yourself, you do not see that, and you still call yourself a Christian, and you say you love God. Well, like I said, it's so deep and sinister to it. That's how you have to ask Yahweh the wisdom and understanding, so you may be understanding. Really do a deep research about Christianity. It's nothing but paganism. It's nothing but paganism. It's nothing but wickedness going on. Whether you think you call yourself an Adventist or Baptist, you still fall under the paganism, wickedness, because all the things that you worship, like I say, you all carry one Bible. Not only you preach different things, which has a lot of these things that's preached in church has nothing to do with Yahweh, nor his commandments, laws, and statutes. And even if you go to the other religious sects, that has nothing with Christianity, like the Muslims, for instance, or the other one, is the same thing. Paganism, idol worship. You know what I'm saying? This is all it's the same thing, nothing different, unless you repent and go to Yahweh and serve him, the only Elohim that live forevermore, and start keeping the commandments. Everything changes, because whether you call yourself the Muslim, you call yourself the Buddhist, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of wickedness amongst these sects. There's a lot of things happening that are not, that keeps you away from Yahweh. All right. So when you go again, you really look at the things that are going on, things that are happening. Like I said, with all the churches, like I said, one Bible, but different sermon. If you really research, like I say, pagan, the cross is it's a idol, and it comes derived from Egypt. You have to really study. You have to really seek Yahweh for understanding, so that you may be able to see and not go according to this world. That's why it says, separate yourself from these people. Get out of her, my people. What is her? It's a church. Get out of her, my people, because her is not doing you any good. It's just going to take you to your own destructions. You're carrying the word, but you have no idea what you're carrying. A lot of people will fight and fuss and say, you're teaching people other things. And like I say, I have so many people come to my channels, saying I'm teaching people the wrong thing, tell them to keep the Sabbath. I'm wrong, this and that. But I say, forgive them, Habaya, because they know not what they're saying. They're like fools who despise wisdom. It's right in front of them. But like I said, until you really want it and search it and seek Yahweh, you are not going to be seeing. You have eyes. You can sit there and read all you want, but you're not going to understand a thing you read. It used to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have that fear. And once you pray to Yahweh, you ask him to put his fear in your heart, then you start keeping the commandments, and all this is going to fall to place. You're going to be a strong man like Joseph was, who was able to resist the devil, resist this woman who's coming after him to break the commandments of Yahweh, to commit adultery, which he declines daily and daily. That's why he ended up going to jail, because the lady, when he refused and she tried so many times, she grabbed hold of him when her husband was out. And then what she did on top of that, she lied to her husband, because he fled and left his garment, and she held it and said that this man was trying to rape me, causing Joseph to go to the dungeon, to jail, and he could have been killed. But because he was righteous, Yahuwah protect him. See, that's what you have to see. He was protected under the shadow of Yahweh's wings. So they were not able to kill him. They just put him in the dungeon, but that was his way out for, for his deliverance. moving from this woman, go to the dungeon, and from the dungeon Yahweh start blessing and giving him vision and dreams and interpret dreams. Then he end up becoming Pharaoh's governor. So this is where you have to really read when you see the stories. This is the good things that happen when you keep what Yahuwah's commandments. Now again, to go back, people who's going outside the commandment, it is a norm. Now when you look at this world, the pattern is going, this earth going to a destructive path. What you have to understand is when Adam sinned, and Adam and Shua, which they call Eve, now when they sinned, they were removed from Yahweh's presence. The realm where Yahweh's blessings was all, they were put into the outside darker world, which is where we're living right now, where Satan himself has a grip on, and he has the power to overpower you. Now the only way Satan is not going to be able to empower you and have dominion over you, that's if you keep his law, the commandments and statutes. Now Satan has a lot of agents out there. Like I say, paganism is all worshiping Satans, you know what I'm saying? So when you have the Catholic Church, who's the head of all churches, is telling the pastor to go ahead and preach the law is done away with, is just exalting Satan himself. And Satan now has the right, because if you look at the churches, if you just go to YouTube, if you don't believe me, pull up churches and see how the Genesis people do, the nonsense pastors, or breaking, committing adultery back and forth. In some other country, you find, same pastor raping young 13 years old, getting them pregnant. And if you go back to the Catholic Church, priests, a lot of people they have a lot of lawsuits, still having it. Well, the issue that they raping young boys. And is this a thing? Is this a place where you want to raise your children? You know what I'm saying? When you're in such darkness, you so ignorant of the what you don't see. This it's not really gonna bother you. Like against the law, again, the law is still, when the pastor saying the law is done away with, you're gonna applaud with the pastor until you fall on that side where one of your loved one is a victim of somebody who's lawless, like a murderer who murdered one of your family members. Then you're going to want justice. But as the law was enforced, the law of YAHUAH, you would have known that it wouldn't continue, because what it says in Exodus chapter 21, for instance, for a murderer, what does it say? It says, if that man, verse 12, 21 verse 12, it says, if that man smite a man so that he died, shall be surely put to death. That man shall be surely put to death. It said, if a man lie not in wait, but God, Yahweh delivered him into his hand, and he was able to get up and go, which means if somebody is not presumptuously trying to kill you, a murderer didn't plan it, and it's just an accident. Yahweh put a place. He had the children of Yahshua put a place for this kind of people, but he's talking about people who wake up. For instance, the theater massacre that happens years ago. This young man who go to the theater after watch Batman. He walked with his assault rifle, go in the theater and shot so many people and killed them. And they have witnesses. This is the kind of wickedness that's happening in this world, and they make it okay. Now, if the top, the elite, or the Catholic Church was to enforce the commandments, all this wickedness wouldn't apply. But therefore, they don't believe in that. They have the pretense of loving God, and what they call God is not the God of heaven. That's why you have to study deep and dig deep. Now, this young man walking in theater, it's something he was planning, going to his house. He had all this thing he purchased online. This is what you do presumptuously. This is that you knew what you were doing. Now, this young man went in and walked into theater, and it tells you in the Torah, if you have more than one or two witnesses, to judge a matter, that's all you need. Now, he walked in there, killed these people, and those who had died knew and saw him. Cameras saw him, and this young man was just taken to jail, and had an attorney defending him, looking like he's crazy, acting like he's crazy, but he had somebody using the taxpayer money to protect this murderer that should have been killed because it's life for life. This is the commandment they refuse for you to take. It says done away with. Why would it be done away with? You kill, it says if you smite a man, the same way you smite the man, that's how you shall die. If you go further in chapter 14, it says, but if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor, like this young man did, he come presumptuously upon these people who was minding their own business, watching in the theater, the movie, bother nobody. It said to slain him what with guile, so he had guile in his heart, all so much wickedness, he come in and killed them. He says, thou shalt take him from my altar that he may die. So this young man shouldn't even have another day. The day that he committed this heinous crime, this is the day he should have been killed. And if that was happening, you would have less murderer around the world. And that's why Yahweh said to stop the bloodshed, to stop the wickedness, because that will insert fear in people's heart not to commit murder unless if it's an accident, And you've heard stories of many times, back in America, where several times you find the cops will cause a woman to lose their child, or fruit, or cause somebody because of wickedness in their heart. They did that. And it's unless if he didn't do it on purpose. But if he does it on purpose, because I saw this video, and with the cop literally punching a pregnant woman, a black woman, causing her to lose her baby. That cop, it's just themes that happen, and it's the punishment of Yashar'el as well. That's their punishment for going away from Yahweh, for sinning and not returning to him and repent for their sins. But not to go, into that. This is one of the reasons why I don't really stick to the news and what have you, because this thing does something to your mind, and you already know what time you're living in, so it's not that it's not important. That's something you should do on your own. I'm not gonna post none of these things on my channel, but my thing is, I just want you to focus on what's important, because all these, regardless of what you see, remove you. It's a distraction, remove you from focusing on what's important, which is the commandments, laws, and statutes. Now, to go back to that young man who did the heinous crime in the theater, he had an attorney, protecting him, saying he's not guilty. Then you probably say he's insane. This is all kind of nonsense they bring. And you also have to understand, in this system, the judicial system, is a business. Everything is about business. That's why the law is done away with. And I'm going to use the law, to cash on your ignorance, to prey on your ignorance. So with that young man going to jail, as long as he's in jail, they're making money. You know what I'm saying? The attorney is making money, because they train these attorneys, to do what? To break the law, to lie, breaking the commandments. Everybody's breaking the commandments. The judge, every one of them. When it was to be a simple matter, you have the witnesses. He killed more than 10 or 20, what have you, people, some in the hospitals. Those who were not dead, who know and saw him, the cops who arrested him, he should have been taken to a judge right there and then, and give him his punishment right there and then, no further ado. But what did they do? They put him in jail, get him an attorney, the taxpayer paying for the attorney fees, which makes no sense, and they go ahead and pick citizens who have no clue, no understanding of the judicial law, who was not trained to lie, who was not trained in the wickedness. Now they get these people, exhaust them, put them in a room, just bring the case to them so they can judge it. And that's why many of the murderers, many of the wicked people go out free. And especially most of them who go out free, that those who know somebody in the system, that their father was a judge, what have you, they know somebody or they got money, will go away free, because they prey on the ignorance of the people who does not know the law in the system. But had they kept the law of Yahweh, this man, his judgment would have been the same day he committed the crime. And I applaud some of the other country who practiced that, because I remember watching this news. There was this man, I don't recall which state, but it was somewhere what they call so-called Middle East, that he had a bag with a bomb, so he went to a tunnel and it exploded and they caught him. The same day that they caught him, they brought him in front of the judge, which is what the law tells you to do. And that was a righteous thing to do. So they brought him to the judgment. As soon as they catch him, they saw him on camera. They put him in handcuff, and he sit there in front of the judge and the cops who brought him, and looking at the video, is that you? Yes. That's your backpack. Yes. And what happened? They killed him right there and then. This is what the justice, this is what is done. So now with that done, do you think anybody will go ahead and act like they're crazy and go ahead and shoot somebody and pretend like they're crazy and use the taxpayer money? No, that's too much energy. Somebody steals something, jail nowadays, especially in America, is just like a hotel. It's like I say, the system is cashing on. Everybody's getting paid, so what do they care? Yes, the law is done away with. Therefore, the pastor, who will teach, you're still under the government. They give you what to teach. Now, I was listening to one of, I don't know, me sometimes, who used to be a Christian, but, see all this thing, and pastor will say, oh, I have a word from God. They always have a word from God, but you ask yourself, which God did you get the word from? Now, tell me, because I know strictly from the Torah, that YAHUAH is the one who picks a prophet, to speak to the people, to tell them what he wants and requires of them, especially if they're doing something they're not supposed to do. He pick a prophet to help the people. Now, the pastors now, still I could never understand how you have a committee in the church, deaconess, whatever they call them, Dorcas, who's there, or it's whatever, the pastor, the head of the pastor hires a pastor. So you saying you get a message from God, but yet somebody else hired you to do what? Who's your God? Is the message, and they give them what they should preach and should not preach. Because I remember this pastor who got fired because he was touching some sensitive subject on LGBT that he did not agree. And they called him into the room, the state even dried him, I don't want you to preach that, this is what I want you to preach. And because he didn't preach, guess what? You got your license from the government, they're going to take it away from you. They tell you what to do. So how is that God give you a message, but you can preach the God message? What I'm saying? This is all the wickedness that's going on. So you have them, like I said, the Catholic Church above, they call the shots. The elites, the 1% call the shot. They tell you what they want you to preach so you can stay in that wickedness realm, so they can still cash on and prey on the ignorance of the people who's without the law. And because the law is done away with, all kind of wickedness is happening in church. They are stealing, they lying, pastors are lying to you all the time. When the tithe, they're telling you if you don't pay your tithe, you're not going to go to heaven, which is a lie. You know what I'm saying? And all this other thing they preach, the same pastor who's preaching you, he's, sleeping with 2-3 women in the same church, and yet the law is done away with. Of course it's done away with. And the only time you remember the law is when somebody do you wrong. You know what I'm saying? Which is hypocrisy. If it's done away with, it should be okay for the pastor to sleep with your wife. Because the law is done away with. It's okay if somebody come to your house and take your stuff. You shall not steal. They steal your stuff. It's done away with. So they can steal your stuff. You shouldn't be mad. If somebody just smite your children or shoot your children, it should be okay with, because the law is done away with. But no, it's not done away with as long as your family member is not affected. You know what I'm saying? So this is the hypocrisy and the wickedness that's going around in the norm. And now, even in church, you find, young children getting pregnant, teenagers. They go to school. If you go into school, oh my goodness, it is a cesspool of wicked. Now, children, the teenager, 10, 12 years old, even in elementary, I was hearing something that's so baffling to me, that a young boy raped another young boy in elementary school. What kind of wickedness is that going on? And now you go to high school, middle school, the children in in the hallway making out, having sex. This is the thing that shouldn't be happening. So because the law is done away with, and these are some of these children, they go to church, they hear the word, you know what I'm saying? They go to church, but they're still committing those crimes. They're still committing those wickedness, those sin is still happening, because now it's a norm. The good is called bad. The bad is called good, because you cannot talk on someone, you cannot say anything. They say you should not judge. You know what I'm saying? So this is the things that are happening in our world, and it is okay. Now, you without understanding, you're in church, and I always sit there and ask myself, how is that there's a church in every corner? Yet all these crimes, all these things happening, all this heinous inside and outside the church. How come the church, you have 20 churches, one community, and it's chaos out there? Why they're not changing? You ever ask a question that why, things are still crazy? Because once you have the law, once you have the children of Yashar'el govern a place, well, if you're really keeping the law, you should see the changes in that community. You should see change in the people, because what it says in Psalms 19, the law, the commandments of Yahweh converts you. That's what converts you. That's what changes you. That's what makes you the new person you're supposed to be, not abiding in this world. Like I say, when Adam and Eve sinned, they were kicked out of Garden of Eden, where they were in Yahweh's presence. So once they were outside Yahweh's presence, guess what? It's chaos. Satan now had the power to, how many times Satan killed them and Yahweh had to revive them. And that's why it says we were born in sin. In sin my mother conceived me. So all this sinful thing is happening, and Yahweh in his merciful kindness, he feels so bad. Not only after he finished the flood, the time of Noah killed everything on earth, and then start over, he still had mercy and pity upon us. What did he do? Okay, he gave you the Torah, he gave you the law to help you, especially the children of Yashar'el, the chosen nation that he loved, because the other world was like, it's a gunner. It's okay, I'm going to choose the seed of Abraham. And what the seed of Abraham did, and here it is told Abraham, your seed's going to do, they're going to do wickedness. They're going to partake with the other nation, because they're supposed to be a set apart people to govern and to, govern the world, which will bring peace and everybody will follow. Because once you under Yahweh's government, once you're under the commandments, laws, and statutes, Yahweh's with you, like I say, everybody would be bowing down to you. Now, what the other nations see, they know, they read, that study the children of Yashar'el, they know they whores after other gods, and what they do, they put in place other gods, the Christianity, all the other they didn't love that, so they bring them, entice them, and now once they sin, it becomes a mess. So now with the children of Japhet in charge in the world, and they're not keeping the commandments, they're not keeping the law because it's done away. They make sure of that the children of Yahshua never come back, to govern over them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, it's a lot of study, a lot of thing. I might confuse some of you, with things saying, but you just gotta study and go on. And to go back with all the sin, the law is done away with. You have parents now training their children to be whore, the kind of clothing they put. And you have a 13-15-year-old coming to their parents' house, they have a boyfriend, and like they have sex, kissing in front of the parents. It's okay, because it's the norm. Fornication is something good in the sight of the heathens, in the sight of the other nation, but inside of Yahweh it's bad. Because if a young woman, you're not betrothed by a man, you shouldn't be kissing, making out, having sex with another young man, or a young man as well. If you're not betrothed to a woman, or a woman not betrothed to a man, this is fornication. If you cannot wait, you get married. And like I said, this world is so messed up, so chaotic. Now it's okay, you have children, young women, even in church you find young girls wearing some tight short pants. You're not selling your child as a whore. The kind of dressing code they put on is all these things going on. And that's why, like I said, if you're not, you either with him or you're not with him. There's no compromising, when it comes to the word of Yahweh. You either keep the commandments or you don't. You're either wicked or you're righteous. When you're righteous, you keep the laws, the commandments, and statutes. That's why you have to separate yourself. You have to keep the commandments, the laws, and statutes. If you have to remove yourself, go to the boondocks or the bushes or something to live, to be able to raise your children away from all this wickedness. Like it says, blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the wicked. Create your own, find a way to create your own job to work for yourself, so you don't partake in the wickedness of the big companies or even small companies. You don't know how they start their business, who they killing, what they doing, but all these people, they are away from Yahweh. They're not living the righteous life they are supposed to. So is the law done away? No, it's not done away with. But yes, if you find the wicked, to them, they don't need the law. They don't want to have anything to do with the law. But unless they are affected by the lawlessness that's going on, then they're all for it. They hooray for it. It's like you find the abortion, you see them people, and you find people so-called Christian, and it's another questionable thing. You see a Christian call themselves Republicans, and the left, they call what have you, the Democrats. But at the end of the day, it's only one party. One person called the shots. That they don't understand is, if you're a Christian, how could you vote for somebody who's backing up LGBT, who's backing up all kind of nonsense, and them themselves, not just LGBT, because all sins are sins, whether you're a liar, a lot of laws they put, for abortions, all these other things, you backing up, you say, okay, I'm agreeing with that person, that backs it up, because I don't want to judge, I don't want to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Political incorrect, and yet you call yourself a Christian, you carrying a Bible, but you backing up, you voting for somebody who's all in wickedness, who doesn't even believe in the law. You don't believe in the law, so what difference does it make here? You know what I'm saying? Because you say the law done away with, therefore you're going to vote for somebody who doesn't believe in the law. You know what I'm saying? All these things is happening, and yet you find people who still are asleep, and that's why if you hear this word, take heed to it. Time is up, people. It ain't much time. If you really pay attention to what's going on, ain't not much time left. You do not want the time to seize you while you're in your wickedness. If you're not awake and you hear this word, go pray. Ask Yahweh to give you wisdom and understanding, so that you may be able to see the secret of the Torah and start keeping the commandments, his laws, his statutes. This is going to be, like I said, the only protection that you're going to have when things break loose. And like I say, I encourage you to read Baruch. Baruch talk about the inner time and things that's going to happen, and it is so beautiful. I'm going to read the last two chapters in a minute, but it's just that I just had to do this. I was just sitting there doing Shabbat and reading, and I said, okay, let me kind of bring this up and trying to help you guys to show you the importance of the law. Stop bind, even those you see who are awakening, like I say, they out of Christianity, but Christianity is still in them. So you have to you have to be all in, or you all out, because that lawlessness is not helping the world. See, the world is not getting any better. And Yahusha, even predict, prophesied about the end of time. The end of time, it's here. It's already here. It's near. And like Yahusha said, and God, he said, Yahweh gonna come like a thief in the night. He's gonna come suddenly upon you, and woe unto you, who sit there slagging, don't wanna believe. And I'm gonna read also, like I say, Baruch to you, to show you those who refuse to take the word, those who refuse, who's rejecting the commandments of Yahweh, that you need so desperately to keep you in his presence. It's not going to be a pretty sight for you. And by the time when he comes, it's not the time for you to ask for forgiveness, because it's too late. It's going to be a little too late. So don't let time catch you up, because he said he's coming as a thief in the night. He didn't give no man. We should not even the angels know when Yah is coming back, when he's going to come and pour out his judgment. And the reason that he does that, which is good, because you find pastors here talking about, they have the revelation time's gonna end, this and that. I mean, this is just like Yahusha said, if somebody tell you the Messiah is here, is in the north, he's coming in the north today or tomorrow, don't pay attention to him, because nobody knows when he's coming. You know what I'm saying? So all you have to do your part, like it says in Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, your only duty is to fear Yahweh and keep his commandments always, trying to walk righteously before him always. Teach the Torah to your children. Stop going according to society. If society move, you move. You move too, because you're not part of it. Once you say bye-bye to this world, to the pagan world, to the other nation, you say, okay, I love Yahweh, I love him, I want to serve him with all my heart, my mind, my soul. You embrace the commandments, the laws and statutes. There's no, you don't need to turn back. That's when you start teaching your children the law. Okay, and you yourself, you start learning because it's not something you grew up with. So yeah, it's gonna be a little challenging. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be, boom, you just get it. It takes a minute for it to clicks in because it's not something you grew up in. And for you to teach your children these things, the good thing that will keep them alive, so Satan is not gonna come in and kill, steal, and destroy you nor your family. Like I said, it's a lot of wickedness. Now you walk to a high school, you see young men kissing young men, and it's okay. And a young man, telling you that he's a she, and it's okay. They tell you it's right. You can't judge. You know what I'm saying? And tell them start calling. Yeah, and this is you just laugh at it because there's no way you can turn a chicken into a cat. You know, like I said before, in the marriage, you can take your private part out, but you still what you are. You can cut an apple, you know, take the seeds out of it, but it's still an apple. You can peel the skins off, it's still an apple. Whatever you do to the orange, you peel the orange, you take the seeds out, you take the buds out, it's still an orange. It doesn't change. It's still what it is. So if you're a man, whether you take hormones, whatever the thing they give you, your body figure change, you become what have you, you take your private part out, you grow boobs, you're still a man. It doesn't change. If you're a woman and you're gonna, take your boobs off, and you're gonna take pill things, whatever you inject yourself with to grow beard, you're still a woman. Nothing changes. Your inside of you doesn't change. It's still the same thing. You get what they call is castration. You get castrated, but that doesn't change anything. You're still who you are. If you were born a man, whether you grow boobs, you grow long hair, you cut your penis, you're still a man. You're a woman, you take your boobs out, you grow beard, you're still a woman. Because at the end of the day, a woman does not have sperm. You can look like a man, but you're still a woman. If they didn't castrate you, remove your ovaries, what have you, if you go sleep with another man, you're gonna get pregnant. So see, this is always bad for me talking about pregnant men. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's all the wickedness going on. You can't help it. It's just there. So it shouldn't surprise you because you're living in a world paganism without the law, who are lawless. They don't keep the commandments. They reject the law of Yahweh. Therefore, I cannot expect any better from anybody who does not know God, Yahweh, who rejects his law. So I'm still going to expect the wicked out of it because you're wicked. You know what I'm saying? Whether you say you go to church, you're a Seventh-day Adventist, and yet you're not keeping the law, you're wicked. You can call yourself a Christian all you want, but you're wicked. You say you're Muslim, you're peace, you believe in all the prophets, you're not keeping the Torah. You're wicked. You know what I'm saying? Unless you go and repent for your sins and the sins of your forefathers and start keeping the laws and statutes that will change you, walk righteously before him. Like I say, it's in both New and Old Testament. They do their best to change the New Testament, add and remove a lot of stuff, but the commandments in the Old Testament still there. Unless you start doing that, you're wicked. So you can take it however you want. Nothing changes. Like I said, the law is still the law. But since you're in the world, like I said, who everything's go, you fly, you set fly. Today you wake up, you want to be a butterfly, you tell people you're a butterfly. Yeah, they don't want to be politically incorrect, you're a butterfly. Although you're a human. You're a tree, you're a tree. Now you find the bestiality is going on, people marrying with their own animals, and it's okay. This is the world we're living in, and it's not good. And the directions everything is going is not good. And like I said, we at the end of time. It's no time to play or joking around. It's time to be awakened. If you don't get it, go to Yahweh. He said, I will give you wisdom and understanding. I will deliver you. I will help you get it, but you have to want it. You have to thirst for him to give you water to drink. If you're not thirsty, you're not asking for water, he can't give you water. If you're hungry, you're not asking for food when you don't have food, nobody's going to offer you food because you're not asking. If you don't knock on the door to open, it's storming out there, nobody's going to open for you, you're still going to be out there getting wet. You understand? So stop trying to be politically correct You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to fit in with this wicked world. Stop trying, you know, to mingle yourself. Just separate yourself totally from this world. Don't let television raise your children. You know, stop being gullible. Everything goes. You know, it says, "Woe unto you that call wicked good, the lie truth, and truth lie." You're gonna pay dearly for that. And if you know the truth and you don't keep it, you're gonna regret it. Like I said, all these commandments they here. That's why I pull the verses. You know, read the chapters yourself. You know, and if you go to, I think I went to Deuteronomy already, and about fornication and adultery. It says, if a man, verse 12, 22, be found lying with a woman married and a husband, you know, they shall be both die, put to death. It is a law. That's how it's supposed to be. Then you'll have less fornication, less adultery. Like I say, Christian will hooray with the laws done away with as long as it does not affect them. As long as the wife or husband does not cheat on them, go get another woman, then it's okay for the law to done away with. It's okay for somebody to murder your family members or you because the law is done away with. Why should you punish the person when they do the crime? They shouldn't be punished. And you don't want to judge, all right? So good luck with that. But like I say, you know, since you're in a society in this world where Gentile is in control in the other nation, and the children of Yashar'el are scattered to the four corners of the earth, like I say, you living in the world, you will abide by the governor over you as long they are not breaking the law of Yahuah. As long they're not telling you to do otherwise, you know what I'm saying? And you'll follow the law, the speed limit, you know, they actually need an ID, you do your ID, you know, but you know, be careful, not everything they tell you to do, you know, like I said, you will abide by. Because remember, you peculiar people, you know, you're supposed to separate yourselves. You know, certain things you're not supposed to be partaking. You know, they have the vaccine things here. You know, what kind of wicked thing they put in there. You do not make yourself abominable. You don't eat abominable meat. You know what I'm saying? And another thing with the Christian, you know, they eat all kind of food. One pastor I remember being young, you know, like I said in the Christian, you know, church, and especially the island people, which Haitian, which I'm gonna really mention because I'm the descendant. You know, I am Haitian, and all the churches that I've been to or were raised on as a Christian. You know, when they having the weddings, the main dish on the plate is pork. And when you go to Leviticus, I think 11, and it tells you those abominable meat. You're not supposed to be eating pork, you know, shrimp, you know, all this lobster, all this food that you're picking up. Now people eat everything, anything, whatever. Snakes, all this kind of crap they eat. And it says you're not supposed to make yourself abominable with these kind of things. But you know, like I say, the law's done away with, and that's the norm, the term, you know. So you do whatever, everything goes, and yet you want to go to heaven. You want to make it to heaven. You want to go receive the glory of God, you know, and your God, not Elah, not Yahweh, actually, you know, because when you're saying God, like I say, you have to be careful. Research Christianity, you know, research before you go hooray yourself calling yourself a Christian, you know. Do your research, read, and like I said, don't believe anything I said. I don't want you to believe. I want you to go read and study and ask Yahweh to open your eyes so that you may see and understand what's going on. So I'm gonna read Baruch, you know, and I'm gonna end here because I think I talk too much, a little bit too much. I'm trying not to talk so much sometimes because I don't want to lose you. You know, I want you to get it. But the Baruch I'm going to read, I'm going to first go to chapter 30. It tells you about the Mashiach when he comes back. But the chapter I really want to go to with you is chapter 51. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Baruch chapter 30. I tried to look it online, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see it. Why don't I have this? You see, they have only 5 chapters, so I didn't, bother. But that's why I encourage you to get the books. The Sefer, like I say, I'm not promoting it, but I have the book of the Sefer, and some people buy the King James. It has all the lost books. Please read the lost books. It's good information for you, and then it's eye opener, and it shall come to pass. Okay. All right, let's go to Baruch chapter 30. I'm going to read that, but the main chapter I need is chapter 51. Baruch chapter 30. They call Baruch Shini chapter 30, verse 1, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass after these things, when the time of the advent of Hamashiach is fulfilled, that he shall return in glory. Then all who have fallen asleep in hope of him shall rise again. And it shall come to pass at that time that the treasuries will be opened, in which is preserved the number of the souls of the righteous. And they shall come forth, and a multitude of souls shall be seen together in one assemblage of one thought. And the first shall rejoice, and the last shall not be grieved. For they know that the time has come in which it said that it is the consummation of the time. But the souls of the wicked, when they behold all these things, shall then waste away the more. For they shall know that their torment has come, and their prediction has arrived." So what is it saying? Like I said, we're at the end of time. You don't want to wait and keep waiting. If you hear this word, you don't understand. Like I say, don't believe what I said, but go to YAHUAH yourself. Ask YAHUAH, can you please help me see what that person see? Help me understand. If you really go into church, you say you really love YAHUAH. A lot of Christians don't even know his name. They call him God. But if you really love God, if you really love him, seek him, ask him for help, and he'll give it to you. Now, in this time here, what I just read is the end of time when Hamashiach come, YAHUSHA HAMASHIACH. Those who will receive is those who was righteous, meaning those who kept the commandments. They weren't saying the law is done away with. They just do it. They were a doer of the word, not just a hearer, but a doer, keeping all the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, the feast days, the Shabbat. It's very important. That's why I say again, I do the reading so you can understand and see how important the Sabbath and all the other feast days are for you to observe and keep in memorial. So those souls that you see who you heard I read who were gathered, they're the one who kept the commandments, the laws, and the statutes. They were just like Maccabean when I read. You see all those, the children of Yehuda, when they overthrown Jerusalem. Even though the heathens took over, they were not, forsaking the law. They say they would rather died, rather than, breaking the covenant, the Torah. So many of them died. But many of them rise up, the warriors. When they see what the heathens were doing, they say, okay, no. Because what they did, the first group they killed during Shabbat, because they refused to come out and fight. They say, you can kill us, but, they got their reward. They killed them. And after that, then Maccabean, his name was Yehuda, woke up and gathered the people who were strong men. They said, hey, we're not going to let you come and keep killing us like that. There's these women who circumcised their infants. They hung them and killed them. Because of the law, they wanted to kill swines on Yahweh's altar. Now they rose up, they fought back. But and those who died as well, they said instead of them breaking the commandment, they rather died in righteousness. And this is how it was supposed to be. This is what you call the zeal for the covenant of our forefathers, the zeal for YAHUAH. And like I will say again, whether you are from the descendant of Hamites, Africans, whether you are descending of Japhet, the Gentiles, once you attach yourself to YAHUAH, the commandments you abides by it. It's not done away. You have to keep the commandments. Like it says in Numbers chapter 15, I believe, verse 17 or what have you, or 18, 19. It says that the same law the children of Yashar'el keep, you shall keep it as well. It's for you as well. And it also says that in Isaiah I don't recall the chapter, but he says those strangers, those who are not from the line of Shem or the seed of Abraham, no, not the seed of Abraham, the descendant of Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Yaakov, you know, you have to keep the same law they kept. You understand? So it goes for you too. And those, like I say, who's a stranger, like I say in Isaiah, you know what happened? Once they keep the Shabbat, those who honor the Shabbat, I did the reading, it's in there, and you can go back and listen to it. You know, those of you who keep it, the eunuch, the stranger who keep it, he said, Yahweh said, I'm going to give you a name better than the sons and the daughters. Who is he talking about? The children of Yashar'el. He's going to give you a name better in his house, in his in tabernacle. You're going to receive a name better once you honor, keep the commandments, laws, and statutes. So let's go ahead and read Baruch chapter 51, which I really want to read and let you see. I'm going to read everything, but what I really want to emphasize is the body. Once you keep the commandments, you know what I'm saying? Verse 9. That body, that angelical body you're gonna be receiving, it's amazing. It's just like the angel like. But I'll just read the whole thing. It also tells you those who kept the commandments and those who didn't, who rejects the word, what happened to them. So in Baruch chapter 51, and it reads, and it shall come to pass when the appointed day has gone by, that then shall all the aspect of those who are condemned be afterwards changed, and the glory of those who are justified. And it says in verse 2, for the aspect of those who now act wickedly shall become worse than it is, as they that suffer torment. Also, verse 3 also has for the glory of those who have now been justified in my what? Torah. In my Torah, who have had understanding in their life, and who have planted in their heart the root of wisdom, then their splendor shall be glorified in changes, and the form of their faces shall be turned into the light of the beauty, that they may be able to acquire and receive the world which does not die. So do you understand what's been said? Those who justify in my Torah, the law that you say is done away with. This is what's going to happen. The splendor, you're going to be living in the glory of Yahuwah. The body you're going to be receiving is beautiful. You will not die, you live forever. And verse 4, let me read verse 3 again so you may understand what's going on here. Because that's why, stop listening. The law is not dead, it's still there. Verse 3 says, also has for the glory of those who have now been justified in my Torah, who have had understanding in their life, and who have planted in their heart the root of wisdom. Then their splendor shall be glorified in changes, and the form and their faces shall be turned into the light of their beauty, that they may be able to acquire what and receive the world which does not die. This is the Garden of Eden. Remember, the new heaven and new earth. We're going to go back to the Garden of Eden. Actually, not us, all of us, but those, the remnant, those who keep what? The law, the commandments, and the statutes. The new heaven that's coming from above, that's Revelation chapter 22. When Yahusha is going to come back, new heavens and new earth is going to go back to the Garden of Eden. We're going to live back again. That's when you're going to be living forever, have a body, angelical body. And it says at the end of verse 3, it says, which is then promised to them. This is what is promised to those of you who does not reject the commandments. Verse 4, and it reads, for over this above all shall those who come then lament that they rejected my Torah. Do you understand what has been said here? Verse 4, listen to it. It says, for over this above all shall those who come then lament that they rejected my Torah and stop their ears, that they might not hear wisdom or receive understanding. Are you understanding? That's why I say the old books. You have to find the old books. Read the old books. Like most of the books in the regular Bible that you have, It's a lot of things been taken away from it. You know, it's a lot of things you're not seeing. But this is important. Seek the old books, read it for yourself. Let me read verse 4 again. For over these above all shall those who come then lament that they rejected my Torah and stopped their ears that they might not hear wisdom and receive understanding. Verse 5. When therefore they see those over whom they are now exalted, those who kept the Torah, but who shall then be exalted and glorified more than they? They shall respectively be transformed, the latter into the splendor of what? Angels. Okay, you hear that? And the former shall yet more waste away in wonder at the visions and in the beholding of the forms. Verse 6. For they shall first behold and afterwards depart to be tormented. Those of you the law's done away with, you who's did away with the law, you're going to be tormented. Verse 7. But those who have been saved by their works, and to whom the Torah, okay, here the Torah, the law, now in hope and understanding and expectation and wisdom and confidence shall wonders appear in their time. You see, the Torah, the law of Yahuwah. Okay, verse 8, it says, for they shall behold the world which is now invisible to them, and they shall behold the time which is now hidden from them, which is Garden of Eden. You know, right now it's invisible. Once Adam and Eve was kicked out, remember, it's still there. You know, it's just like you cannot enter. It's still in the world that you cannot see. Verse 9, and time shall no longer age them. So you living forever. You not die, you don't age, what have you, because this is the kind of body Yahusha, when he says, I'm going to go up, he said, do not worry, I'm going to go up and be there are many houses in my father's house. I'm going to build your house. So what you have to understand, the body you're living in, you who's living in this body, is considered a house for your soul. So once that body is destroyed, you're going to need another place, another house for your soul to survive, to be able to live, so you don't wander around. So remember, this body is going to destroy. Whether you believe in Yahweh or not, it will be destroyed, begun. So the question you need to ask, where is your soul going to be, you know, when this body is destroyed? So that's why Yahweh is merciful. He's trying to help you, giving you the commandments, the laws. And now on top of that, he gave his only begotten son to save you. But no, what you do, you despise wisdom, you despise the commandment, you reject the Torah, it's done away with. So this is your reward, those of you with the Torah done away with. Verse 10, for in the heights of the world shall they dwell, and they shall be made like unto angels. This is what the kind of body you're going to be having, like unto angels, and be made equal to the stars. That is so beautiful. And they shall be changed into every form they desire. Who wouldn't want that? You know what I'm saying? Screw the world, screw society, right? Keep the commandments. Because I want to be, I want to receive the body of angels. Don't you want to receive a body of angels? You know what I'm saying? You understand the wickedness that's coming on. You see the world, what's going on in it right now? It's chaos, heartache, stress. And you find out 1% want to control you and destroy you every day. Your food you eat is not even good. So don't you want to be part of that good, glorious time that's coming, the glorious body? Let me read verse 10 again. For in the heights of that world that shall they dwell, and they shall made like unto angels, and be made equal to what, to the stars, and they shall be changed into every form they desire, from beauty into what, loveliness, and from light into what, splendor of glory. This is what happened in the presence of Yahweh. And without this commandment, you can't be that. You can't be in his presence. And verse 11, for there shall be spread before them the extent of paradise, Garden of Eden, and there shall be shown to them the beauty and the majesty of the living creatures, which are beneath the throne of all the armies of the angels, who are now held fast by my word, unless they should appear and are held fast by the command, that they may stand in their places till their advance come. Verse 12, it says, moreover, okay, moreover, there shall then be excellency in the righteousness, surpassing that's in the angels. Verse 13, for the first shall receive the last, those whom they were expecting, and the last of those of whom they used to hear that they had passed away. Okay? Remember I said the body you in, everybody's gonna die. That's why screw it. Somebody wanna kill you for the commandment, just like they did in Maccabeum, for the word. That you don't break the Torah. You die for that, you're gonna get glory. You're gonna receive glory from Yahweh. So you're gonna die regardless. Whether you reject the word, you're still gonna die. You don't reject it, you're still gonna die. Okay? But it's what happened to you after death. That's what you have to worry about. Verse 14. For they have been delivered from the world of tribulations. Okay, so let's go back to 13. It says, for the first shall receive last, those whom they were expecting, and the last of those of whom they used to hear that they had passed away. Verse 14. For they have been delivered from this world of tribulation, and laid down the burden of anguish. For what then have men lost their life, and for what have those who were on the earth exchanged for their soul? Doesn't this sound familiar? What should a man give for the exchange of his souls? I believe it's in Matthew. That's in the New Testaments, And this is we're reading Baruch. That's considered the Old Testament. You see, let me read verse 15 again. For what then have men lost their life, and for what have those who work on the earth exchanged for their soul? What you exchange for the soul when you die? Verse 16. For then they chose not what for themselves this time which beyond the reach of anguish could not pass away, but they chose for themselves that time whose issues are full of lamentations and evils. And they denied what? The world which ages, not those who come to it. And they rejected the time of glory, so that they shall not come into the honor which I told you before. To reject the time of glory, rejecting Yahweh's Torah, commandments, laws, and statutes. Baruch is very beautiful. I just wanted to read that chapter, but if you read the old chapter, there's so much more to it with the other chapters. I'll probably do a reading on that. But to end this session, we're going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Now, what is your duty? What is the duty of men? What we have to do? Let's read Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 and 14. Let us hear the whole conclusion of this whole matter. Fear Yahweh, okay? And keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. Your duty is to fear Yahweh and keep his commandments. Do not partake in this pagan world and this crazy world and this society. Stop moving with society. Move with Yahweh's commandments. Verse 14, for Yahweh shall bring every work into judgment, which every secret things, whether it be good or evil. So whether you do good or evil, you will be judged. And when you go to the judgment seat, those who hear cannot say, oh, I didn't hear the word, I didn't know. No, you heard it. You heard it. So you chose to reject it. You chose to ignore it. You choose not to study and seek his face. And believe me, y'all, listen to me. You better seek Yahweh while he may be found, because there's going to be a time you won't be able to find him. Okay? So, what's the verse say? The time is evil. Seek Yahweh because time is evil. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. I hope this little session helped you. I just wanted to share. I'm going to try my best to do, more videos to help those who's on my channel. And please, do you help somebody? Share the word. Share the video. I don't care. You can share it or post it on your video, which is, just to help somebody, your family members, whoever you want to share it with. It's just, I just want the word to reach out. I just want people to get it. I wish I could insert that in everybody, my family members, but what can I say? I can't. I can only tell you. But the rest is up to you. The ball is on your court. It's up to you. What do you want? Do you want the body of angels? You want to be lamenting forever, or you want to be living forever in the glory of Yahuwah. It's up to you, not mine. So like I said, don't believe a word I say, but just go seek the word for yourself. Ask Yahuwah to reveal things to you so you may see it. With that note, I will say shalom.